phone crooked here? What's going on? Is it any better? Let's see. Oh, and then this. Why does this? Okay. All right, I'm going to let my computer catch up with where my phone's at as much as it can. I'm sorry, I was all set to go and I took one last drink of my tea and I swallowed wrong. So then I was coughing, and so it took me a little bit to get on here today. So I apologize for that. All right. This is Sonia with Stamping Around the Dining Room Table. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would be happy to be yours. Go to my webpage, stamparoundthetable.stampinup.net. There you can find out more about me. You can see our products. You can place an order. You could sign up to join my team or sign up to hold a workshop. Any questions, anything I can help you with, you can leave a comment here and I will do my best. Okay. This week I've been focusing on like some little gift type things. Oh wait, I always go in to get my thing, but I better back out so you can see better. Okay. On Tuesday I showed how to make these double coffee cup holders. Then I did a second one on Tuesday to show if you wanted to do some singles. This is a cute way to do that. I guess you really could, if you wanted, you could make this into one. You could make this into two. So it was just two different ways that you could do the coffee. Let me set it like this so that the camera picks it up a little better. Then on my YouTube on Wednesday, I showed some tea bag holders, and there's two styles. One that's like more like a little pouch and is a little more, a little simpler, and then one that's a little fancier pouches, but neither one is difficult. And then I showed how if you wanted to put more than one together, this one, we got this one, sorry. You wanted to put more than one together, make it almost like it, then when you open it, it comes more like an accordion. You can do that with these. So one, and this can hold up to two. Each one can hold up to two. And in this was just how to do this. Okay, so, and again, these each will hold two. You also, if you wanted, could put in some little cookie packages, maybe some chocolate squares, like Ghirardelli, that style chocolate squares. You could put in something like a little honey stick, those kinds of things. You could also add some little things, doodads like that also in these, if you want, not the cookies so much, but you could, maybe you could, because you could maybe figure out, we could maybe use the bottom of this more to add some extra things. But, there's some little doodads you can maybe stick in little different places. Okay. So today I'm going to show you how to do, I came up with this way of how I wanted to do my, do things for my hot chocolate, giving out hot chocolate. And this one is, okay, so I know this I have to do differently. There's quite a few different suggestions online for how you can do this. And I'm going to try this a little different way because it keeps wanting to come undone there. And maybe it's just probably because it's so full. And I did these when I first did these, it was a little more complex, and I kept sometimes I would even make a mistake myself. I'd get twisted around on where my scoring was supposed to be, and I thought I need to make it a little bit simpler. So I was working on a little bit simpler this morning. Just a second here, let me see if I can get this, if it'll work a little better than how I had it. Maybe not. Oh, I see. Put it on the wrong spot. I'm really sorry. I'm just putting some tape on, some of this tape on here. Where's my, and it's just not. So in one way, I guess the way I originally did it did seem to hold up just a little better, but maybe I just didn't get this adhered properly to begin with. Let me see here, like that. All right, so anyway, I'm going to show you how I did. I'm going to show you this, but first I'll show you this. You can either do with, because this was the way I made them first, and they are just a little different on the side. Oh, I see. Maybe if I trim that too much to have that, that might be, that was what the difference was. Let me see. Maybe that's part of the problem, that this pushes it away. I just was thinking you might want that, but I'll play with that later. Okay. So I wanted to show you, you can do it with just cardstock and decorate it with your DSP, or you can use your DSP to do it as well. Okay, and then this is basically the same. It's just I put it together. I just modified how I did it, and then I say, let me use my scissors. So I just see the others. I did have this all cut off right here. See if that will help. That may help a little bit, because I think it's putting too much pressure. When it's tall, it's putting too much pressure, so it kept pushing against that. So yeah, that's better. So I just will know that. Now, sometimes best laid plans. 1 second. Excuse me. Sorry, my nose is probably just left over from my coffin jag I had earlier. So I apologize for that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you. We found these. There's 6 in a package. There's only 5 right here, but at the Dollar Tree, 6 pieces. These are little spoons, like peppermint spoons, or you can use peppermint sticks or small candy canes. I also got some Swiss Miss. You can do any brand. The one thing with the Swiss Miss milk chocolate is it is printed on there in red, which is nice for Christmas. Then some mini marshmallows. We ended up with a Jet Puff, but it's whatever brand you have available at your store. Okay. And I just wanted to show you the Ziploc bags that I'm using. They are portion control. This is called Smart Snacking. And then they're rectangular and go this way. And I have another snack set that goes more like this. It's made just a little bit bigger. But these are the ones that I used. Okay, these are from Walmart. But again, whatever your store has is fine. So I put marshmallows in this. I have about 30 in there. I figured it out. And I found that this doesn't want to stay by itself too well. So I use some Scotch tape to do that, so that will stay together. The other thing I found was that I didn't realize this before, but the mini glue dots do not stick to this plastic, because I was going to kind of stick those, have it to help it stick. And it didn't want to. So anyway, all right, so I'm going to put these aside, and I'm going to show you how I did this. I did say to cut that off. I just didn't follow my own directions. Silly me. Okay, so I've done a couple different things, and I decided I meant to put this on here this way. This way, and I turned it this way. So that's all right. I'm just going to turn the paper this way. All right, so you're going to start out with a piece 4.5 by 6.5. So there it is right there. See? Now, I'm going to grab get it here. I'm going to do it on the board. You can also do it on I'm using the scoreboard, but you can also do it if you want to on the trimmer, because that also does have a, it has a, that's what I want to call it. I know what it's called, a scoring blade on it. So you could use that. And I don't know if I dropped another one of these or what. So these are both the same. Yeah, I'll put that there for now. And if I need to, I will look for it later. Okay. So I'm going to have this where I can, hopefully you can see it. Let me see, right there. And this right next to it. Okay, so let me see. This up. Let me just see if I can move in a little closer. I can't do too much. Yeah, if I move this over like this. Okay, so I think you can maybe see that a little better. I'm not sure how well you can see the numbers, but all right, so whoops. So if I'm doing it this way, we'll start with that way. And so the 4.5 inch side, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch. And at 4 inches. So that gives you a 1/2 inch fold on either side. Okay. Now, then you're going to turn it. I just want to make sure I got this. I'm going to turn this so that because that I think is part of my problem, that if I don't turn it, then I make a mistake. Okay, so you're going to do a score line at 3 inches, 3.5 inches, and then I want to go to the 4.5 inch mark, but I want it, if I can get this, I should probably do it this way. 4.5 inches, because I just want to go to this first score line there. So 4.5, is that what I said? Yes, 4.5 down, like that. Okay, now let me just make sure this looks like my diagram so far. Yes, this, okay. Sometimes I was getting it, and the other one I opened it a little differently. Instead of folding on the bottom, it folded on the side. So I was always, whatever was over here, I kept getting confused with. So I think this is going to help. Okay, so, because this is going to be my front, all right? So, before you do anything else, it's always a good idea to fold and burnish on all of the score lines, because it makes it easier to see where they're at, especially if you're doing it on DSP, because sometimes the pattern can interfere. All right, and then right here, I don't want to do all of it, just that little piece. All right, so I'm going to turn this back like this, because this is going to be the top. Okay, let me even write that on here. Where's my pen? Ah, here it is. This is the top. All right, so, all right. And this is the front, the top and front. Okay. So, we are going to trim on either side, here and here. I don't necessarily need this big of shears, but these seem to help me with this just a little better. So cutting there. Then the other thing that I did was I hold these, whatever side I'm on, I hold it back, because I'm going to take just a little nip like that on that side. Then see if I can hold this. You should be able to turn it this way. and I can hold it in my left hand, and another little nip here. The other thing I realized is that I like to cut just a very small part off there, not a lot. You still want a little bit of a tab. All right, so now I'm going to do it on this side. Let me hold this one up. And now I'm just turning it so I can just hold that other one up out of the way, this other little part up out of the way while I'm cutting. And it's easier for me, since I'm right-handed, to hold it in my left hand. Okay, so we have these like this. Those are going to go inside, and the front is going to go basically kind of like that. Now, if you want, you could just do this. Let me just, where's my, and, you know, you could just do that. Things would fit in. So it might be a little tighter. See, it is a little tighter, so you might want to make it a little, but as I found out, like having part of the top open, part of it was because I wanted you to be able to see better. I wanted it to have the slant. So that's why I put this mark here. Okay, so I'm going to cut this, and this part here is going to be cut off. Here, let me hold it so I can. Okay, whoops, I didn't get that quite. Went over just a little bit. Let me hold it this way. I just realized I didn't do a very straight cut. You want it straight. And this just stays like that, okay? So here, so then the next thing I did was I cut from here to this top corner here where the line is. So the easiest way to do that so it's straight is to use the trimmer. And what I did is I put where that score is right there on this track, and this on this track. I'm going to just move this back out of the way so it's not in the way of the cutting blade. Just want to make sure that I have those lined up. I do. Okay, so there. See, so this matches this. Okay. Then, before I do anything else, I am going to put my DSP on here. It's just easier. You can do it after, but it's a little bit easier. And one of these is a little smaller, and I thought I had two the same size. So let me just, it must have fallen because they were here. And of course now I'm not finding it. Oh well, let me just see. Well, actually, is that the smaller one? I'm going to put the smaller one on the inside. But pretty much the 2 3/4, which actually, this is turned, it should be this way, 2 3/4 top to bottom, and about 3 1/4 side to side, because it's 3 1/2 by 3 is the measurement on this. Okay, so I'm just going to use my tape runner, but you can use whatever you like. You can use, and if you wanted, you could even have it back, you know, like the back of it showing. I'm just going to have it be the same. Okay. And I am putting a little bit of, but if you wanted, you could move it all the way up. Okay. Then for the front, so this is a little bit, since I don't know what I did with the other piece, which maybe, oh, I see, I had this small, I did have another piece. All right, I'm going to end up, okay, I just want to make sure. This says 3 1/2. I want 3 1/4 by the 2 inch. So let me just do this. Make sure that's 3 and then, now because the one thing I found is I was trying, it seems like no matter how well I measure, I always have a hard time having this by, so I'm just kind of, there's that, I think that should be about right. But I found that measuring it sometimes is not, like with the ruler, does not always seem to work out quite as well as I want. But so I'm going to put those. So that's why I did it the way you saw me doing it there. I'm going to see if this is right. Let me just see here. Yeah, that's the best one I've done, I think, so far. Okay, so this, and where's my ruler? My little ruler, my 6-inch ruler. I thought I just had it. Did I stick it over here? Here it is. All right, so I just want to see. This works out. It's about 3/4 of an inch, I think. Yes, that's what I thought it should be. And this actually ends up being 2 and 4/8. No, it's 5/8. I mean, I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing that. 2 3/8. 2 3/8 is what it looks like. So this would be 2 3/8 this way, and 3/4 of an inch. So obviously on here, the diagram is not to scale with that, but you get the idea. And you can change it. I just found, as I said, overall, whenever I tried to measure it and cut it, but just by inches, by using my ruler, I always end up seeming that I didn't get it quite right. Oh, I just better look up. Oh, yes, Meg, thank you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments. Yes, I do like this paper a lot myself. And and I'm glad that you feel the diagram's helpful. Although, as I was mentioning, I did have a little bit of a problem with the diagram. Something about I just was really struggling some of the time. But the biggest thing is if you use the diagram, and just make sure you've got it. Sometimes too, like you'll find maybe you scored it and it's going this direction. So just fold it. Then you can just fold it back the other way. And turn it around. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show you how I put this together. I like having the front. Oh, I didn't do that again, did I? Oh, I see. I cut. Aha. That's what I didn't do on here. So let me just look at this. Because I'm going to want the back. I was thinking, but really, I found I thought I wanted this back here, but I really don't. So let me just, so I should have had one other spot just in this first one. So let me see. This is one of the reasons it's a good thing I'm doing this today. So really, this would be, so it's an inch. So down an inch this way. So it really would be 2 1/2 right here, just to the first. Okay, so 2 1/2, 3. Oh no, this has to be 2. It's an inch it's 3. I got mixed up. So 2 inches, 3 inches, 3 1/2, 4 1/2. So what I would do first is do the full ones, the 3 1/2 ones, then come back and do on just this up to the first line here, 4 1/2, 2 and 4 1/2. All right, so I'm going to do this way. Just up to 2, so it's going to be right here. So where's actually I'm going to do it. This one I'm going to do on here. Not cutting. I want make sure I get that there. It's not in there correctly. It's partially out of the track. I may have to go to my book. All right, here. Where's this? Will this fit in there? No, but well, this will. Okay, so there. So right here. I thought I worked out the glitches, but you guys, doing this for you guys helps me work out a few more glitches. Like this. And then I'm going to cut, I want to be sure I'm on the correct side. This. So actually, where's this? So this here also should be cut out. I would have figured that out if I had really spent more time on this, but as I said, this was, I wanted to redo my original plan here, but they still look the same. All right. Oh, so let me just make sure. So this, see, now that's how we want it, like this. Okay. Oh, so I'm going to put, these will go inside, and then I'm going to put this on the outside. So I do want, and this is two like that. All right. So I do want to put, I want this to go over, the front to go over, so that the opening is towards the back, so it's not quite as noticeable. So I'm going to put the, and I want it near this edge. If you want to put a second layer like along here, you can. It's just wide enough that you probably need to take this off before you put that on there. Put the second one on, but I'll just show you, you can. And especially the other side, I may want a second one like that. Because see, they do overlap just a little. Stampin' Up, what I'm using right here didn't happen to be from Stampin' Up. I do have some from Stampin' Up. It's narrow like this. There are some different brands, if you wanted, available that are wider. Okay, and I'm going to do the same over here, especially since it didn't want to hold so well once I get everything in it. And the only other thing I can figure would be if I made it a little bit deeper, but I didn't want it too much deeper really, so. All right. This, and here's a, just going to push back those edges. All right, so these go inside, and then these come up, and that's going to go just like that. This, you know, push it, that little tab in, and then this is going to go, let me hit it off just a little bit, just like that. Okay, so when you look from here, see it's all smooth. This is more you see when you're looking from the back. I'm just going to take my bone folder and try and burnish that. So hopefully that helps that to adhere better. So there is your little box. Now, get all of my pieces here so I can assemble this for you. One of the things I did was I didn't like how this edge looked up here, so I folded it over, make sure all the chocolate's down, and I folded over just a little bit like that, and I used one of these glue dots, and it does pick up easily when you want to take it apart. It does come, it doesn't, it's just enough to kind of tack it in place for now. And then I do like this up just a little bit if I can. And the spoon, I also put kind of, let me just see about where I want this. I'm going to have this be, so I'm going to put this about there. So this will stick to the Swiss Miss And if you wanted, you could put, some of these on the back of the Swiss Miss to help hold it in here. But once I get this in, I really don't think I need to. And the other thing I'm going to do is tie a ribbon around. Because as I said, I couldn't, since this wouldn't, if this would have stayed in, I might not have done the ribbon. But this doesn't want to stick to anything other than Scotch tape. I didn't really want to tape that in. So then what I did was, I think, use ribbon. And on this, I'm going to use, if I can find it, does it look like it's, yep. This is some ribbon from a few years ago, but I wanted a green ribbon here. And I wanted in more like the shaded spruce there. And then I just tie this around. And this is how I usually do it, so that I try to not have more than, and I just find like this. And then I just play around with it until this gets about how I want it. Then I trim it. So let me just, so what I'm, in each ribbon, each one packet may even look a little differently. It just kind of depends on how it goes together. And then I just kind of do this, this, and that one. So I'm going to untie this, and I'm going to measure this if I can to see how long this is. So let's see, 112. So this one is 19 inches. You need more ribbon than you realize when you're doing bows, and especially in this case I'm going around. But I remember the first time I realized how much ribbon it takes to make a really beautiful bow, like if you want it for a wreath or something. It takes a lot of ribbon. So that's why ribbon bows can be very expensive, because it really, you can use, wait a minute, I think I want it this way a little more. You can literally use multiple feet. Sometimes if it's one of those really big poofy fancy ones, it can take yards of ribbon. So anyway, and many of you probably already know that. As I said, I didn't know it until I helped make some ribbons, some bows for some wreaths a number of years back, and I was just like, oh wow, made me appreciate bows much more, fancy bows much more after that, and those who make them. I can do these kind. The others are a little more time consuming. There, that'll be good enough. And later I may play with that a little more. I don't know. A lot of times I like to try to have them more like, kind of like this, and I can't always get it that way, but more like, kind of like that. Anyway, but that's good enough. Then, how I've been, hopefully, is this going to be big enough? Let's see. Yes, although what I wanted was, 1 second here. I'm going to just see where I have I'm a little frustrated with myself because I didn't have what I thought I had. It's probably on the floor somewhere here. Okay. I'm just going to see if I can. I've been using my punches. Now, this is 1.5, 1.5 inch. And I just wanted to, if I could, to have one of those kind of in the center there. And then with 1 3/4 punches. Now these are not available at Stampin' Up right now. They had them in the past. Many of us had punches, whether we were with Stampin' Up or not. Or if you have circle dies, you could use the circle dies. Okay. Or if you don't have either of those, you can always find something that's the size you want, trace around it, and cut it out by hand. Fussy cut it, we call that. Okay, and then I'm going to put, and actually I'm going to put it here so that I know that it's on either side of this ribbon. Maybe. Like this. Yeah, get it on there. And it's right there. Or you could do something totally different. You could, I just wanted to show too on the back of this one, just to show I had these, punched that out the other day. You could even then put your Merry Christmas and to and from on the back. Another thing that you can do, I happen to have a stamp set from another company that I used to get stamps from, especially before I got into Stampin' Up. And there was a whole stamp set that for snowman soup, which is what a lot of times this is called. And so I can stamp those out, and I can put that like on the back here. I did look online, and there are different little snowman soup things available that are free. Some you have to pay, but they do have free ones so that you can stamp it yourself, or copy it off yourself and add it if you would like. And there's a couple different ones. What I'm going to do right here is just put a little, just to kind of help hold this in where I want it on the back. Okay, so there we go. So that's how you do that. And the only other thing I did was, if you want to do it with, I'm not doing that today, because I just wanted to go through the steps of making this. If you want, and that's what I did with oh my gosh, did I not? Oh, this one, I'm losing my mind here. Oh, see, this one came apart too, so I'm going to have to re-glue this one. But this one's with DSP, okay? And so you just follow the same thing. You just cut it out of DSP like this. Or this is a little sturdier, because cardstock's a little sturdier. Our DSP has pretty good weight to it. So, but anyway, so you can do that if you so desire. And here's just a couple of, like, this is the first one I made using with the cardstock and decorated DSP. This is my DSP one, and this is the one we just did together now. Okay. If there's any questions, any comments, you can leave them below. I will put directions on for this in a comment below, along with, I'll put in, what I'll probably do is do a picture of this and then do the diagram separately in another comment, okay? Move this over a little to the side. I just realized I'm a little to the right more than I should be probably. Anyway, so that if you wanted to try this yourself, you could. All right, so I hope you might give this a try. Next week, I'm not sure quite yet what I might be doing. I was hoping my paper pumpkin would be here, but mail has really been kind of different right now. And, with holidays and all the extra stuff, and I'm thinking they have less drivers than they had before or something, because it just feels like it's taking everything a lot longer to get here. But I'm hoping my paper pumpkin for this month will be here, and then I would do that next week. If not, then I may do some other little gift items that you could try and put together to give people. You still got another week before Christmas, so is it really only 1 week? Yep, because Saturday's the 17th, and so that means a week from Saturday is Christmas Eve. Wow, time just flies, doesn't it? All right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And until we meet again, happy crafting. Bye-bye.